Let's get healthy with flavor. Today we're making a shrimp and zoodle pasta. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of More Seasoning. I am your host, Farnum, and today you guys are always in the comments,
make a healthy recipe, make more healthy recipes.
I hear you, I see you, and that is exactly what we're doing. Since Jacqueline's been on her diet, I've been experimenting with new dishes, trying to add a ton of flavor while keeping things nice, light, and healthy. So today we're making a shrimp pasta, but instead of pasta, we're gonna use zoodles. We're gonna make a pan sauce with it. It's gonna be incredible. Hey, before we jump into that recipe though, please scroll down, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment below. Show some love down there. I always reply to you guys. I appreciate you. Hey, without any further ado, it's shrimp and zoodle time. Let's go. All right, I'm always mixing things up, trying new stuff. I've actually never incorporated some of these ingredients when I've made it, but I think that they'll taste a lot better. So the ones you will need are some deveined, deshelled raw shrimp, zucchini for your zoodles, optional red chili pepper if you want some heat, garlic, shallot, a lemon. We're gonna try some roasted grape tomatoes today, unsalted butter, onion powder, smoked paprika, garlic powder, chicken stock, avocado oil, and some optional white wine. I know a lot of people don't like alcohol in their cooking, but can do it. All right, first thing we wanna do is make sure our shrimp has some flavor, so we're gonna start off by marinating these. All right, so I got a 1/4 pound of some 2130 shrimp. That just means it takes 21 to 30 of these to equal 1 pound. And all we're gonna do is hit them with a drizzle of olive oil. Then we're gonna go in with a pinch of salt. Then we're gonna go a little bit of garlic powder, just to make sure we get a nice coat. Repeat with the onion powder. Hit it with some smoked paprika. Again, we're just gonna dance it on there. And then we're gonna finish off with some black cracked pepper. And then we're just gonna toss these up. All right, once your shrimp is covered in seasoning, we can just set these over by the stove while we get the rest ready. All right, next we're gonna prepare our roasted tomatoes. I have not added this to the pasta yet, but I feel like if we roast them on the side and then add them in at the end, it'll add a nice brightness, you know, little anyway. Let's cut them up. I got a little hack right here. I'm sure you've seen it on the internet. You take 2 lids from a Tupperware, put your tomatoes in, and then you just slide your knife through the center, just like that. And viola, we've got tomato halves. So once they're halved up, we're just gonna hit them with a little bit of avocado oil, salt, pepper. We're gonna throw them in the oven at 400 for about 15 minutes. Next, we have a shallot. Very easy. We're just gonna peel the skin off. Then we're gonna hit this with a couple vertical cuts, some opposing cuts, fine chops, scoop it up into the bowl. Can we just talk about something real quick? We're supposed to do the garlic right now. I literally just came from the store. I bought 2 heads just in case. Why am I buying fresh garlic that's rotten? Look at this. What is going on? First of all, not everybody has a ton of money to be spending on produce, and it's like when they do, they're getting rotten stuff. Like, I don't know, this is frustrating. Anyway, I'm gonna find a couple heads or cloves. Give me a second. All right, now that I found a couple, I literally had to like slice rotten pieces off. This is ridiculous. Anyway, all we're gonna do is lay them out, and then we're gonna hit them with a fine vertical chop, nice slices, just like that. Scoop them up into the bowl. All right, so the chili pepper is optional. If you want some heat in there, you can do it, or you can use red chili flakes, but you know, I figured we could add a fresh one in there. And then we're just gonna do like thin slices just like this, so it cooks down nice and quickly. We don't want like huge bursts of heat in our bites, you know what I'm saying? So it's like if you do get one, you don't want it to be like overpowering. Almost done with the prep work. Our tomatoes came out. I just want you guys to see how they look. They should be nice. They should have some rimpling, some pruning going on, and they should smell incredible. And maybe a little sizzly. All right, let's knock out the liquid prep. I'm using a Sauvignon Blanc. I got this at Publix. I think it was like $9. You don't have to go fancy with it. And I'm just gonna do about a 1/4 cup of this. I lied, we're gonna do 1/2 cup. We're gonna do 1/2 cup of wine into the bowl. And then we gotta match the energy, but not all the way, because then we're gonna do a 1/4 cup of some chicken stock. And make sure you're using stock and not broth, because as you should know, chicken stock is a much more concentrated flavor, whereas broth is like almost like water with somebody whispering chicken in the background. It's not the same. Also, once we got our 1/4 cup into the bowl. The hardest part of the prep work. All right, and lastly for our prep, we gotta make our zoodles. Listen, I know this is a lot. You can get a little zoodler, a little hand crank one on Amazon for like $7 or $8. I'm sure they have them at your local grocery store as well. This is the KitchenAid version, and all we do is just set our zucchini up. We've got it stuck right here in a little thing. We've got our shredder, and then we just turn it on, and it's just gonna make us some zoodles. Semi ZOODS. All right, once your zoodles are done, you saw how easy that was. Now we're just gonna hit the stove. We're gonna cook this thing up. It's gonna be super easy. Let's go. All right, here we are over at the stove, and this is what your setup's gonna look like. All right, over here I've got all my fresh ingredients except for the zoodles and some avocado oil. And next to that, I've got a nice deep saute pan, roasted tomatoes, my zoodles, and a bowl with a strainer so our shrimp don't get soggy. All right, so we got our pan on a medium-high heat. We wanna wait till this gets nice and hot because we wanna get a good sear on our shrimp. Once we feel like this is nice and hot, after about a minute and a half, we're gonna add a little bit of avocado oil in there, and now we're gonna add in our shrimp. That's exactly what we're looking for, that nice sizzle, beautiful. Honestly, it could have even been a little hotter than this. All right, these cook very fast. We're only gonna give them about a minute and a half on each side. Beautiful, we got a nice, that's exactly what we're looking for. That fond on the bottom of the pan is exactly what we're looking for. And the second side, it'll be a pretty quick sear. All right, so it's been about another minute and a half now. Listen, if you're crazy about making sure that your seafood is done, you wanna cook these to about 140, so let's just go ahead and check. We'll stick it in the thickest one and see where we get. 126, 132. I have a feeling we'll be at 140 in about 10 seconds. And beautiful. All right, now I like to put my shrimp into a little mesh strainer like this. You don't have to, but I just don't like when they get soggy from sitting in the juices, because then it kind of ruins that little bit of a snap that comes with the shrimp. So I'll just let them sit in here. They could drip if they need to. Also, Jacqueline prefers this dish with little small tiny shrimp, and she just likes them in her pasta. I prefer a little bigger shrimp, but you can do whichever one you want. All right, so we're gonna put this on a medium heat, which is low medium if you don't know. All right, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna add around a quarter stick of butter, and then I'm gonna add, a couple more drizzles of olive oil, about a tablespoon or so, and then we're just gonna let this melt and come together for our spices. Now, if we start getting a hard bubble like this, we can also just take the butter off, whirl it around, get it in that hot oil, and that should help it melt rather quickly. Once that butter melts, we're going in with our shallots. Beautiful. We should hear a nice slight sizzle. And then we're also gonna go in with our chilies. So it's gonna help cook these chilies down, really pull the good flavor out of there, and just tone down the spice level quite a bit. Go ahead and make sure we get everything coated in that butter and that oil. Beautiful. And we're just gonna cook these shallots until they get nice and translucent. Okay, it's been about a minute and a half. We can see our shallots are starting to turn translucent, which means we can add our garlic in. Now, this garlic is a little bit thicker. It's rather than a fine chop, we have our slices. So it's able to sustain and deal with this heat a little longer. So we don't have to rush after 20 to 30 seconds to get this. Once we start seeing this garlic gold up and start to turn colors a little bit and get very fragrant, then we can go ahead and add our white wine in. All right, we can see the garlic starting to get some little goldness to it around the edges, and we can smell it. So now we're gonna deglaze with our white wine. Beautiful, just like that. Now, once that white wine goes in, I want you to understand, we're going to remove the fond from the bottom of the pan now. It's called deglazing. So it's gonna take all that flavor that was built up on the bottom of the pan and just release it into the liquid. As you can see, it's almost perfectly crystal clear now. Like, we just give that a little, and then we're good. Look, over here, clear, nothing. So once we have that in, we're gonna go ahead and also add in our chicken stock. Perfect. Give that a good mix. So this is where I switch things up. So normally I like to add the lemon at the end, but for this one, I want that garlic to talk to me. I want those chilies to talk. I want there to be a good amount of depth in there. So I'm gonna add my lemon now. That way it reduces out and there's just like a of lemon in there, not an overpowering brightness. So I'm just gonna grab my lemon. I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze that in. I'll use a half for now, and then we can taste later where we wanna go. All right, and then we're just gonna go ahead and mix everything together. At this point, we can go ahead and make sure that we're on a nice low heat, and we're just gonna reduce this. Let me holla at y'all real quick. So once we got this nice and mixed up, we're just gonna make sure we're on a low heat, and then we're going to reduce this. Now I wanna reduce this until it almost gets to like a slightly gelatinous stage, right? So we want a lot of this water to reduce out. That way we can really concentrate those flavors, and then we'll come back in at the end with some butter and just amp it up, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper to really take it all the way. So I'm gonna let this go. I'll start a timer. I'm going to guess it's gonna take about 7 minutes, so we'll see. All right, so as we can see, it's been literally 7 minutes, okay? And we've got a nice thick, almost gelatinous-like texture, so most of the water has reduced out of here, and at this point, this is when we're gonna hit it with some butter. So what I like to do is just grab, like, I don't know, we'll probably use a quarter stick. I'm gonna do some slices, throw them in there, do like 4 at a time, just to kind of gauge where we're going with it. We're gonna throw that butter in, and then we're gonna swirl. You've seen it here before. We're swirling again, and then it's really just gonna help emulsify this into a beautiful sauce versus just like some liquid. Look at that. Look how that just came together. It's beautiful. It's glossy. I'm gonna add a little bit more butter just to give it some more richness. Now, a lot of people might say, well, butter's not healthy. We can debate that in a different video, but I think a little bit of butter will never hurt anybody. So we're just gonna go ahead and swirl, swirl, swirl. All right, now we're gonna taste this before we throw our zoodles in so we can really knock that sauce out of the park. I mean, it tastes incredible. I am gonna add just a pinch of salt in here. So we're just gonna add a nice little pinch, beautiful. And then why not do another squeeze of lemon, just a little bit, just a tiny bit, like a cheek's worth. And then we'll go ahead and we'll swirl that. And then we can just mix that in until we get it how we want it. All right, let's go for one more taste. Modification. Money. All right, so we gotta heat our shrimp up. We gotta throw our zoodles in there. We gotta throw our tomatoes in. So here we go. We're back on a low medium heat. And we're gonna go in first with our zoodles because these are gonna take the longest to heat up. So let's just get them zoodles in there. And then with this, we're just gonna keep it moving and we're gonna toss them in the sauce. Now the thing about zoodles is we don't want these to overcook. We want them to have a little bit of snap, a little bit of crunch to them. And they're gonna come together. We can see them starting to just kind of like fold in on each other, right? So they're warming up, kind of becoming a little more malleable. Let these reduce just a little bit. All right, now we still want to heat up our shrimp. Go ahead and add in our roasted tomatoes. Again, I don't know how this is going to taste, but I can only imagine it will taste good. And then we can throw our shrimp in. We can toss everything together. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point, we can go ahead and plate, hit that B-roll, and go right into the taste test. Let's go. All right, the moment that we've all been waiting for, the taste test. This smells intoxicating. It smells incredible, guys. 3, 2, 1, and zoodle up. Whoa! The shrimp, incredible. The seasoning, amazing. Second off, the sauce that we made, incredible. The thing I love about the zoodles is, I don't know if you can hear it in the mic, but they have this crunch to them, this nice snap, almost like an al dente pasta, but even more. They literally, you can't taste them. It's just like as if it were pasta. And I thought that we went a little light on the sauce, but we got plenty sauce. There's even more in the pan. So this is literally perfect. So I used 1.5 zucchinis in order to get this, and there's probably a serving and a half here. So do a full 2 zucchinis for the zoodles. But the roasted tomatoes in here, a great addition. Those chilies, so subtle with the spice, but they bring out a lot of flavor, a lot of depth. At this point, I think that we're good to go. You could tell on a scale of 1 to 5, this is a 5-star recipe. Easy, incredibly quick, super healthy. You can dial down the butter if you need to, but I'm a butter advocate. Hey, if you're watching and you made it this far, please scroll down, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, show some love in the comments below. Our Platt to everybody. I appreciate y'all. My name is Farnum. This is More Seasoning, and this is our new favorite pasta with zoodles. We out.